Hi, everyone. Happy New Year. My name's Nadia Ali. I'm founder and CEO of Idea Labs.
Hey, and I'm Sydney Jackson-Clockston. I'm the owner and founder of Citrine Unlimited.
And we are here to talk to you all about an inclusive leadership cohort series that we are kicking off in early February, where we'll have 3 sessions and you'll have the opportunity to also have 2 one-on-one coaching sessions with one of us. And really excited to just talk to you a little bit about inclusive leadership and what it means to us and how it shows up in our work. So, Sydney, kick us off.
Yeah, well, when I think about inclusive leadership and what it means to me, I like to let everyone know that leadership isn't just about your title. And I think sometimes people get stuck in that thinking where it's like, oh, it's by what my employer deems me to be, a manager or a supervisor or whatever. Um, And I am completely of the belief that we're always leaders. Even if you have a household, right? And maybe you have a partner or you have children or whatever, like those folks, they're constantly looking at you for guidance and for leadership. And that does not mean you always have the answers. And so I think that's the other thing that I like to talk about is that, like, as a leader, you don't always have the answer. And that's why coming to programs like ours, where you can get in a room with other folks who are leaders in the community, leaders with their employers, right? Managing a team, getting new ideas is really important because we don't always have the answers, but it's really nice when you have that network and that community to support you in that development and growth. Um, so that's what inclusive leadership is to me, is like really thinking about, okay, how can I take myself as a person and really be a light to those around me, whether that's at home or if that's in the workplace. What about you, Nadia? What does inclusive leadership mean to you?
I really loved what you shared. So, thank you for sharing that. I think for me, when I think about inclusive leadership, I think of embodying the 6 traits that show up in the Deloitte report that came out a while back. It came
Hmm.
out a few years ago. And those 6 traits were cultural intelligence, courage, collaboration, commitment, being aware of your biases. And I think, did I already say collaboration? I think I did.
You
I don't
did,
know if
but
I'm
that's
missing
really
a 6 trait,
important.
but it's really important. So I'm gonna say it twice. But I think for me, it's really embodying those traits and really thinking about the ways in which they show up every single day. I mean, if I think about how it shows up in my own work, I think it shows up whether it's building up the courage to have an uncomfortable conversation or holding space for one. Another way that inclusive leadership shows up in my work is, collaborating with others and doing that with an awareness of biases that I may hold. And then I also always try to ground my work in empathy and work from that space. So, how does it
Yeah.
show up for you?
Yeah, I know in the work setting for me, it shows up in a lot of similar ways. I think a big piece for me, one thing that you didn't cover already, is the aspect of sustainability too. A lot of times folks don't think about it, but when you're becoming an inclusive leadership, you want it to also be sustainable. And I know for some folks, they
Yeah.
think, oh, the environment, and sustainability is way more than that, right? It's about how can we create an ecosystem, even in the workforce, right? That can sustain itself, that's actually healthy. And so for me, something that I've had to do is make sure that I'm doing things, even like taking a lunch break, and
Totally.
taking time to do hobbies that I enjoy, because if I don't do that, it'll lead to burnout. And I think a lot of times we're talking right now in our culture about like burnout and what does that look like and how can you solve burnout? And I feel like we're treating the like we're treating the symptom, right? You have a cold, so you take cold medicine, but we're not actually talking about how did you get the cold? Why did you get
Right.
sick? And so I'm really excited to kind of delve into some of those topics too, where we're talking about, okay, let's get to the root of what's going on and how can we continue to develop ourselves moving forward. And that's something I do in my own work. When I'm working with folks, I had a call with a partner earlier and she's like, yeah, like, just to be clear, these clients want to customize something. And I was like, that's all I do is customize, because I'm not I don't do cookie cutter approach. I like to make sure that folks get the information that they want to receive. So I'm really
I love
excited for the
that.
interactive piece too that we're going to be digging into. I had
Yeah,
another question for you.
yeah.
How else have you seen like leadership, inclusive leadership specifically, show up in the workplace? Like, what does that mean for you or with your clients even? Because I know you've worked with tons of folks in the community.
Yeah. I think what I've seen, or how I have seen it show up, is I really love the point of sustainability that you brought up, is like people really wanting to think of ways that they can create systems that are sustainable so that they're able to show up as their whole selves, as their authentic selves, so that they don't experience burnout. So really looking at, what processes, what communication pathways are in place so that folks feel like they can show up as an inclusive leader day in and day out, and that they have the systems to support that. That's definitely one way. The other piece I would say is that commitment. Like, how do you show up to work every day being committed to show up as somebody who is going to be inclusive, who is going to make sure that, they are using their emotional intelligence, their cultural intelligence skills to make sure that everybody is being heard in the room, that people's voices are being incorporated into decisions that maybe weren't being incorporated before. So always thinking about ways to constantly improve and being committed to that.
I love that. Well, and I know overall too, something that you and I both chatted about is like, why even create this program? Like, why do an inclusive leadership cohort? And I know for me personally, I always get asked by folks, what's next? I've already done like DEI 101, or I've already gone to some past, leadership trainings where I've gotten bits and pieces. But now what? Like, what's the next thing for me to do to make sure that I'm continuously like educating myself and growing to learn about how to work with others and to work with others well? And what got me excited about the opportunity of doing this leadership cohort is, you and I, between us both, we have over 30 years of experience working with folks in leadership and DEI. And so we get an opportunity to really show our gifts, and to
Mhm.
help implement and facilitate this space where we can bring others together who are phenomenal leaders who also want to learn and grow from one another. And like I said, we don't have all the answers. I would never claim that. That's out of integrity for me, but to collectively, we do have answers and we can support each other. And I'm really excited that we're going to give folks some guidance or along a couple of topics that really need some more time and deeper thought and discussion towards, and something you can't just get in a DEI 101, leadership 101 type setting, where we're covering basic dictionary terms. So really
Yeah.
excited about what we're going to be doing, and how we're going to be working with each other. How about you? Why did you feel like there was a need to do an inclusive leadership cohort?
Yeah, so I really like all the points that you made, and I would just also add that, this work is ongoing. So I mean, you know, DEI work is not just one and done. It's a journey, and so we're always like, striving to learn new things, and also wanted to create that opportunity for leaders to continue that learning and dig in and engage with one another, and like know that you're not alone in this process. Like, we're all learning together, and we wanted to create space to dig into topics like power and privilege and trust, and really think about how our identities intersect with those concepts and the way that we show up as leaders. And
Mhm.
then also create an opportunity to have leaders learn from one another and share experiences, like you were saying, and then also to have some one-on-one coaching opportunities as well. Like, we wanted to create a space where we have collective learning, but then do some one-on-one time as well with each person and each participant in the program. And so having that combination oftentimes can make for a really good learning experience. And so if you see on our background here, we have our QR code up so you can scan it and register. And the first session is on February 1st. And if you would like to take advantage of our New Year's discount, you can do so by registering before January 13th. And so if you have any questions, you can reach out to one of us. We'll make sure to include our links to our websites and email addresses and all that good stuff. But yeah, any questions, definitely reach out to us, and we hope that you'll join us.
Yeah, thanks so much. I'm really excited, Nadia, for you and I to be working together on this. And
Yeah, same here.
like Nadia said, definitely feel free to use the QR code. I'm also, this video is on YouTube. So in the comments area below, we'll have all the links as well. All right, thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.